Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to do this awesome Parallax Text Outline effect. Now the techniques that you're going to learn in this video you can take and apply to do dozens and dozens of other effects. So you're going to learn a lot, it's going to be a lot of fun, and let's get started. Alright, so I'm just going to set up my environment real fast. Now you can add this text effect anywhere you want on your website, but for training purposes I'm just going to work on kind of a blank canvas. That way you can focus more on what we're making and not everything else going on around it. You want to make sure you have your navigator open. If it's not open or you don't know how, in the bottom left corner, it's a second icon from the left, Navigator. When you're working with multiple layers, especially parallax, when layers are on top of each other, the navigator is super handy and pretty much required. So let's get this started. I'm going to add a heading element. Now the style options are kind of up to you. I'm just going to center it. I'm going to put in my text. And then I'm going to go to the Style tab. I'm going to change the text color to white. Again, you can make it whatever color you want. And then the typography, I'm going to choose a nice thick font. I'm going to do Helvetica with a weight of 800 and transform of uppercase. And then I'll probably make the size around 115 or so. Yeah, 115, maybe 112. Perfect. So that's going to be my text. So you see in my navigator here, I'm going to double click the heading name, and then I'm going to name it Solid. I'm going to come to my Advanced tab. I'm going to go to Positioning, and I'm going to position it to Absolute. From here, I'm going to duplicate this layer, and in the newly duplicated layer, I'm going to quickly rename to Outline. And then with my Outline layer selected, I'm going to go to Style. I'm going to change the text color to Transparent. So no color. And then I'm going to go to Advanced, and I'm going to give it a CSS class called Text-Outline. Perfect. So now I'm going to add an image. I'm just going to drag an image in here. I already have one uploaded and ready to go. Quick little side tip of how I easily created that is in Photoshop. I just created a normal square document, and then I added, using the ellipse tool, hold shift down for a perfect circle. I put an ellipse in here in the middle, and then I just added the image I want on top of that, and then holding the Alt key, you'll see how if you hover your cursor between the layers, the cursor changes to like a little down arrow with the white square. If you left click, you'll see that that masks the layer on top to what's below it. So from here you can kind of move it around and position it how you want, save for web and devices, and you're good to go. So just a little side tip on that. Now with my image layer selected, I'm going to go to Advanced, and then I'm going to go to Positioning and Absolute. So what I want to do here is, you see under Vertical Orientation, there's a little top and bottom option. I want to choose the option that gets me the closest to the end result I want. So for example, I want some of the bottom of this image to go into the text. Now, if I choose bottom here, that gets me closest to where I want my end result to be. So I'm going to choose bottom in my case, and then I'm going to do an offset of, let's say, negative 125 works. So almost done here. I'm just going to go back to Advanced, and in the CSS classes, I'm going to give it two classes. The first one is called Text-Bounce. So that's one class. I'm going to hit space. The second class is Text-Bounce-Annie for animation. So we have two classes in here, separated by a space. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the solid layer for my navigator. And I'm going to go to, Advanced, Z-index. I'm going to give it a Z-index of 5. And then I'm going to click my image. I'm going to give it a Z-index of 6. And then I'm going to click my outline and give it a Z-index of 7. So what we just did here is the solid we set to a 5. So that puts it in the way back. We set our image to 6, which puts it just over our solid text layer, which is set to 5. And then the outline we set to 7, which puts it on top of the image and the solid text. So the higher the number, the higher the priority in the layer hierarchy. 5 is behind 6, 6 is behind 7, and 7 is on top. Now, you can't actually see the outline because remember we made this style of the color to, transparent, but we're going to fix that right now. So now that we have this all set up, let's go ahead and click Update. And then I'm going to go to the front end. I'm just going to click Preview Changes and then Customize. Now, when I'm adding custom CSS, I always like to add it under Additional CSS of the WordPress Customizer or my style.css and my child theme. So let's add the outline. This is going to be real simple. We're going to target the class that we added to our outline layer, which was text outline, and then open curly bracket, which will automatically add the closing one. I'm going to hit enter once, and then I'm going to put in hyphen WebKit hyphen text hyphen stroke, and then colon 1 pixel white. Now, you would probably want to make this color whatever your text color is. In my case, white. So that's it right there. You could see that we now have our, parallax effect. Everything looks good. Now let's add the animation to give it a little bit of life. I am going to go on, new line. And I'm just going to copy and paste this in so you don't have to, sit and wait for me to type it out. There'll be a link in the description with this code that you can copy and paste as well. So I'm just going to paste this in. And you'll see immediately when I do that, it starts kind of bouncing very subtly. Now, this is really great. We're not using any JavaScript, nothing but, as you can see, just a few lines of CSS to make this happen. Now, you can also tweak this to your liking. So I have it very subtle. The key with the animation is do not overuse it, right? Be subtle with it. Now, you'll see here the -10 pixels. If you were to make that -100, it would go up 100 pixels. That's not a little bit. That's definitely way too much. So I think the 10 pixels is good. Maybe 15 will go. You'll see up here under the animation duration, if I were to make that 0.5 seconds, it would go really fast. Way too fast, right? If I were to make it 5 seconds, it would go way too slow, I think. So I think 2.5 seconds is a good little number, nice and subtle. You can change both of these to your desire, though, okay? Now, that's really all there is to it. I'm just going to hit Publish. So I hit Publish just to save this. I'm going to go back to my Elementor. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page just so I can see the CSS applied to it. And I'm going to start by just checking out where we're at with the responsiveness. So desktop, that looks good. I'm going to go to tablet. That looks pretty good too. Nothing really to change there. And then mobile. So the mobile needs a tiny bit of work on the text. So what I'm going to do is, remember, we have our navigator. So I'm going to go to my navigator. I'm going to go to the solid text layer style. And I'm going to change the size on mobile to something that fits. So let's say maybe let's just say 60. And then I'm going to go to my outline layer and change it to the exact same number. So 60. The image is a little bit large now, so I'm going to click my image layer, go to Style, again, all on mobile still, and I'm going to change the max width to, actually, I think 60. That works pretty good. And with my image layer still selected, I'm just going to go to Advanced, and I'm going to go to Positioning, and I'm going to change the offset on mobile just to maybe raise it up a little bit. Or down. Now we'll go up a little bit. Perfect. So, now you don't need to match these settings exactly. Some of this comes up to with how you want to put it, right? So if you don't want it like that, you could certainly put it, like this. It also depends on the image you're using, right? So this image is kind of busy, so it doesn't really work too well like this, but we'll leave it for now. So as you can see, if we cycle back through, everything seems pretty responsive. It looks good on desktop, looks good on tablet, looks good on mobile. So I'm going to click Update. So I'm just going to go to the front end again, Preview Changes. And I want to show you one more thing. So this text outline here, you see it's set to 1 pixels. You can actually change that to be thicker. So for example, I think it actually probably will look better in this case with maybe like a 2 or no, 3. Yeah, I think the 3 is actually working pretty good. So you can tweak these things to your liking, and I hope this was helpful. I'll see you next time.